Hey guys, we're back for another Walt Presents, and today is the 16th Disney film, Sleeping Beauty. And I do have some notes here for us as normal. Sleeping Beauty actually came out on January 29th of 1959, but it was actually was one of the films that Walt had wanted to do for a while. It was the most expensive Disney film ever made at $6 million. Walt believed this would be his masterpiece, but it actually was a massive failure and put him off animated films for a while. It was the first animated film shot in Super Technorama 70 widescreen process, their second widescreen film, but this one could be shown in 35mm or the 70mm films. It was the last hand-drawn Disney film before the studio switched to the Xerox process with 101 Dalmatians, which would be their next film. Critics were mixed. They praised the art direction, the musical score, but criticized the plot and characters, and it only ended up grossing $5.3 million on a $6 million budget, but re-releases did make it successful in the future. The biggest problem that Walt faced with this was how to do a princess story unlike they hadn't done before. There were a lot of delays because Walt just didn't feel it was good enough, and he was distracted with the building of Disneyland. So the film that should have been his most iconic film, he didn't even give it its full attention. The artwork, it was known as a tapestry style artwork. Someone had looked at old drawings on tapestries, and they kind of thought this would be kind of that unique thing that would set it apart. Now, I'll be honest, for me, I didn't really care for the artwork. I thought it was a very lackluster film. I just didn't like it. The fairies were kind of cool, but I don't know. For me, it just didn't win me over. I mean, the interesting thing about this is the losses that the film occurred, plus other losses they had that year. Ended up losing $900,000, and for 1959, the studio had already a total of $1,300,000, which led to massive layoffs throughout the animation department. So this one really put a hurt on Walt. Now, it's another one of those films that as time went on, people appreciated it more. It ended up in time grossing $56.6 million and became the second most successful film from 1959 behind Ben-Hur. It did do well on home video. It was released in 1986, selling 1 million copies before going out of print for a while, as they would put them back in the vault and re-release them. Actually, this edition of Sleeping Beauty I have here was an out-of-print release that I actually found, but I think they have since re-released that out. Mary Cosda, who actually did the voice of Princess Aurora, had actually sued Disney for royalties in 1989 and ended up winning for undisclosed sum. So here you've got more living actors they were brought in to help promote the film, and then ended up suing and getting money because they didn't get it the first round. So Disney considered more lawsuits in the 80s for them. I don't know. I think Sleeping Beauty to me just kind of feels generic. I mean, with Walt distracted, I think that was its biggest problem. From what I was reading, he would kind of go and say, "Yeah, that looks good," or "I don't like it." And with him not giving his full attention to it, that was the big problem that it had. He just didn't give it what it needed, and it was too similar to other films. I mean, you got Snow White, you got Cinderella, that had similar your prince and princess stories and things like that. Evil stepmothers. Just it's a very generic story that, I mean, it feels like we've already been there. We've done this. It didn't seem fresh. Even the animators felt the same way. So it just doesn't have the same pull that some of his past films would have had, like a Lady and the Tramp or a Cinderella or anything for that matter. It just doesn't feel like it's strong enough to be a true classic. I mean, now I know it is recognized as one, but like me and my wife were actually kind of bored with this one. But that's all I really got on this one. I will link a trailer down below, so take a look at that. And oh, it was nominated for an Oscar for Best Score, but it did not win. So another film that at least we're back to nominating these Disney films again, but it's still not winning anything. It wouldn't be the 80s till we start, or early 2000s when Disney starts winning Best Animated Feature Films, because that category didn't exist. But that's all I got. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you. And tune in next week for 101 Dalmatians.